black ownership in the black community and the community at large is important. But I wanted to break down why I think we have to always be mindful of having these kind of conversations without thinking about the overarching picture. There have been recent cases since the racial reawakening or reckoning that happened during 2020, 2021, where businesses have been, struggling. Black businesses have been struggling. Black-owned businesses have had to either close, change ownership, change leadership. And there's a conversation that's going around as to whether we should continue to support particularly businesses, black-owned businesses that have changed ownership. Should we support them if the ownership is no longer black, right? Or led by black people? And the one thing I did want to kind of state on this is we've got to go deeper than the representation of the owner of the business. Yes, it's important. It matters. So don't misconstrue what I'm about to say. But we've also got to remember that a lot of these organizations employ black people, have black suppliers, whether that's through freelance work or through the supply chain, and still within their organizations may still have sometimes, not always, black leadership. So I don't want us to kind of boycott previously, formerly black-owned businesses because they've changed ownership. I do want us to ask the question in terms of why some, major black businesses are, I won't use the word failing, but are having to whether it's change ownership or sell up. I do also want us to think about the fact that it's hard out there. There are reasons beyond the kind of obvious, that being financial being the most obvious one, why black business owners are saying they've had enough. It's the exhaustion. It's the climate. Aside from the economic climate, it's the fact that they're not supported enough in terms of continued investment. Burnout is a real thing. I think some CEOs, especially black CEOs and business owners, are burning out. They're really struggling to survive because it's really, really challenging. So I think before we kind of dismiss or excessively judge why black owners are selling and changing ownership, so those black businesses are no longer black owned, we've got to think about that. But it is important, and we know that, I think. But I will say, if we can keep businesses afloat, especially businesses that are employing black employees, black people, black suppliers, it's really important. I think it's for me, it's tougher, it's sadder when businesses have to close altogether. And I get it. For some people, they'd rather the business close together than have it owned by people who do not support our communities. I get it. It's important to do our research. It's important to know the motives, the real motives of the people who are owning businesses that are basically being propped up by members of our community. But I also want us to make sure that we unpacked all the the various reasons, the whys, and try to get an understanding of the ins and outs. I know it's not always easy, especially the bigger a business is in terms of impact, not just size, but impact within a community. It can be really challenging. But yeah, think about that before we kind of dismiss and discredit businesses that are no longer black owned, but still for us as a people. Are they still for us? I say they can still be for us, as long as the leadership cares enough and does the work to maintain the quality and consistency of whatever it is, whether it's a product or service. So yeah, share your thoughts. Black owned businesses, can they still be for us if they're no longer black owned? Thank you. I'm laughing because I'm saying that I can see how people could be like, does that make sense? But it's something to consider, something to think about. And I think there is space to have that conversation. More seriously, there is space to have that conversation. So share your thoughts below. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we can have a conversation, a fruitful conversation in the comments below.